Revelation of Jesus Christ to Sister Monica Gomez, The Coming Alien War of Armageddon. The Global Cataclysm, The Rise of the Antichrist. The Lord has given me this message for His people. The Lord had asked me to retreat in fasting and prayer. It was while I was in retreat in prayer that the Lord showed me this revelation. I was in a moment of prayer, and suddenly I saw the heaven opening. I saw a mantle of God's glory descending. It was a mantle of the rainbow color. It was shining in such a way that I was dazzled in its light, and after it descended in the place I was, the whole house was illuminated. Then the light draped me around and I became part of it. After encompassing and covering me, my spirit began to rise so quickly to the presence of God into the heavenly city. I ended up in front of the Father's presence. It was glorious. I saw the Lord of armies. The Lord was on His throne and He was covered with a light that shone like the color of a diamond. There was an intense light that emanated from the throne. Immediately I prostrated before the throne, and I heard the voice of the Lamb who told me strongly, "Tell my church to hurry, and they must advance, they should not stop." Then the Lamb pointed to a place and said, "Let go." Suddenly I went hand in hand with the Lord, the Holy Lamb, my Lord Jesus Christ. He is so beautiful, His face shone brightly with a beautiful light, and the Lord was taking me to a place in the celestial world where there was a river, the river of life that was springing out of the middle of a big rainbow that was covering the throne. The Lord showed me the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb. We were around the source of the crystal river of life and we started to have a conversation. I was instructed not to reveal some of the thing that I saw here, and then Jesus said, "Mary, let's hurry. You need to see something." The Lord said, "Understand that my spirit is in you. Remember, you're not alone. Where you are going now, if you see anything threatening you, just declare my blood, which is all-powerful, because the blood of the Lamb has power." Then we got to a place. Immediately we began to travel into an underground tunnel. As we were moving further inside the tunnel, and we traveled through a place where I couldn't see around because of darkness, we arrived in a place that was similar to the side of a volcano. I could see and hear the strength of the activity of the volcano, and I could see the lava spilling around, boiling and exploding, and the Lord confirmed what I saw. He told me, "This is a volcano." As we were going through this, I said, "Lord, I'm going to burn." The Lord said, "No, you won't burn." Then we continued to move further inside the tunnel. Suddenly I could not see the Lord by my side anymore, but I heard His voice and He said, "Don't worry, just advance without stopping. If you see anything, use my blood." After walking for a long time through that tunnel, I emerged on the surface of the earth. I saw few rails of a train, and I began to walk over the road next to the rails, and I started to see that the more I was advancing there was what I thought were black waters covering the rails. Then the Lord told me, "Watch and listen." I saw some men who were working on something. Suddenly one of them said, "Look. Who knows what's going on? Someone must have thrown chemicals here." When I looked at the ground I saw a rare color. I realized that what I saw previously on the ground weren't black waters as I thought. In fact, I saw this chemical matter coming out between some rocks. I saw that it started to flow more and more gradually. Then the man that was investigating this phenomena said to one of his colleagues, "This is wrong." Another man came and he said, "What's going on?" "Something's wrong. There's a fluid coming out of the rocks. The magnetic force is getting out of control, and it is throwing magma. It's melting." Immediately I saw these men quickly collecting the liquid into a vessel, and one of them took the vessel and said, "I'm gonna go to the lab with this sample in order to study what's going on." He said to his colleague in a very alarmed voice, "What is this? It's sprouting more and more." I noticed that his colleague were alarmed, and they said, "Come on. Let's take this and get out of here. Let's go. Hurry." Suddenly one of them said, "Steam is coming out of the earth. We must be careful and fast. The media have been reporting many small earthquakes. It must be caused by Nibiru." Not long after these men ran out of this place, immediately the Lord took me to the Earth's atmosphere. I was looking at the Earth's ozone layer, the region of Earth's stratosphere that absorbs most of the sun's ultraviolet radiation. The Lord said to me, "This is the Earth's atmosphere." We began to move through the stratosphere, and it felt like a force that was moving my spirit. I felt like I was drowning, as if I was suffocating. It was a strange feeling, and I felt fear. Jesus said to me, "Servant, don't be afraid, you need to see this." I noticed that the Earth ozone layer had a lot of holes, and Jesus said, "This is the Earth atmosphere. This is the magnetic force from Nibiru. Soon it will come and weaken the magnetic force of the Earth ozone layer. As a result, the atmosphere and the Earth layer will collapse, and the Earth's surface will remain exposed completely to the rays of the sun, and then there will come great calamity, natural disaster and cataclysm. The Earth will lose its direction and the poles of the Earth will be inverted." And Jesus said, "Behold." Immediately we went in something that seemed to be a tunnel. We were going very fast. While I was descending to the inner part of the Earth, the Lord told me, "This is the axis of the Earth." They were in a straight line, but then it started to change shape. The Lord told me, "The Earth moves into 3 positions in an elliptical shape, and that's why you see the axis like this." Jesus said, "We have just come from the outer layer of the Earth. We are now in the crust of the Earth. The place seems incandescent. I mean, there was a liquid similar to an incandescent lava. I saw the crust of the Earth moving, and Jesus told me, Monica, the crust of the Earth is melting, and it's losing strength. The magnetic force of the crest and the core of the Earth is weakening. As a result, the rays of the sun is penetrating directly into the Earth. Thus there is evaporation inside the Earth, and we got out of there, and the Lord took me to see the volcano that I saw in the beginning, and the Lord told me, that's why this volcano is like this, and the steam of the depths of the Earth is surfacing to the surface of the Earth. That's why they're appearing in some places, and there are many volcanoes that are in activity and they are getting bigger. As a result, there are occurrences on the surface of the Earth and the whole Earth, and there are volcanoes even in the sea, because of the melting of the Earth crest and the core of the Earth. These volcanoes will continue, and they will no longer stop. In the end, this will cause the breakdown of the Earth, and there will be earthquakes of greater magnitude, the coming war of the Antichrist. The Lord took me in a place where there were men who were armed. I saw a man on his knees with his hands raised up around them. Then I saw a respectable man making his entry. He was Vladimir Putin, the Prime Minister of Russia, and he asked these men, "What is happening here?" One of them replied, "This man belonged to the Israeli armed forces. He tried to get to your palace in order to commit a terrorist act, and these are his weapon." I saw around this man many cartridges. They were actually dynamite. Then Vladimir Putin asked the man, "What is this? What was your intention and how did you get here?" The man was scared, and he said, "I don't know how. They left me here and they put this bulletproof vest on me." The Prime Minister of Russia said, "This is dynamite. Don't tell me now that you don't know what this is." "I don't know," replied the man. Vladimir Putin asked him, "You were planning to blow my palace and kill me?" Then Putin started laughing. He said, "Did you really think that you could destroy me? Now observe me." Right in front of that man's eyes, Vladimir began to transform into a horrible reptile. The man got upset, so did I. He was terrified and said, "What is this?" The man was freaking out and said, "This is not real. Get me out of here." Immediately that man covered his eyes. He was really terrified. Vladimir Putin said to him, "You serve your father, let's see whether he is coming for you." He was referring to God. Immediately 2 other characters came. One was the leader of North Korea, and the other that was under the shadows was the American President Obama. The Israeli officer said to the American president, "What are you doing here? Russian are the enemies." The North Korean leader replied, "We are earthly enemies, but we are a spiritual race of the same family and father." In front of his eyes, the leader of North Korea turned to an horrible reptile. The American President Obama also turned to a reptile. They were such big demons. The poor man was very terrified and said, "No. This is not real." Vladimir Putin said to him, "This is very real," and then he said to the armed men around, "Take him away and kill him." And the Lord told me, "They are prepared for a war. They're against my people, they are the governors of darkness, because we have no fight against blood and flesh, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this century, against hosts spiritual of wickedness in celestial regions. Soon the Lord took me to a tunnel in the middle of a very high mountain, and he said, "Watch everything." I saw that from the tunnel came out of a train, and I was surprised to see the entrance to the tunnel. I saw a gate that was closed. Then I heard a sound and I saw a man coming, and I saw a lot of war tanks coming out the gate of the underground. They were a lot, and I saw soldiers on them. They were Russian forces. This is what the Lord told me. They were advancing on those tracks, and then they stopped. They were in the middle of a big, grand canyon, and it was very high. They stayed there like waiting for something, and then I saw a ship descending from space. The people who were driving these ships were aliens or demons. The whole place was covered with the shadow of their ship. I heard the man saying, "The aliens. They have arrived." Then I saw descending from space more ships, which covered a part of the sky, but those ships were smaller than the first one, which was the mother ship that I saw descending previously. Immediately, I saw a huge alien or demon coming out of the ship. After him, I saw a lot of them descended. They were up straight beings. Their eyes were very large, and they were very rare, and the Lord told me, they are demons who will come to help the Russian forces that will come against the land of Israel. The Russians' forces and the Arab will be allowed to move forward. This is the fulfillment of my word about the end time. The Bible say, "For I will gather all the nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city will be captured, the houses plundered, the women ravished and half of the city exiled, but the rest of the people will not be cut off from the city." Then the Lord took me to another place. He said, "You have to see everything." Then we came through a tunnel, and we moved to a place underground, and there was a man who appeared to be Arab because of his robe, and he was with a leader who came for inspection. He was showing this leader a place that it was like a warehouse, that it was full of military weapons. There were missiles, tanks of war, different weapons. There was immense quantity of weapons, and then they went down to an underground, and I saw a lot of lava. The place seemed to be a volcano, but the Arab told the man, "This is not a volcano, it is not natural lava, we have produced it because we are going to need it." They immediately went up, and the man told the leader, "No one can take this place because this is the Holy Land." Immediately the leader said to him, "There's only one that is holy, and it's Pope Francis." Right away the Arabic man replied to him, "You should not have been here. Who are you exactly?" Immediately I saw this leader changing his appearance. He was the Antichrist, and the Arab told people in this place, "What is he doing here?" "He's the Antichrist. This land is Palestine. This land belonged to Muslim." The Antichrist replied, "I am staying here, because I am going to resurface and reveal myself to the nations from here. Palestine is mine." Immediately I saw the Antichrist becoming a monstrous, and he said, "My father is Lucifer, and I am the Son, I am the Messiah that Israel is waiting. From Palestine I will manifest and make myself known to the world." And I told the Lord, "Was he not going to rise from the sea?" Said the Lord, "That's right, he will resurface in the middle of the nations, but he was always here among the people, and from here he will rise." We were in the outskirts of the city of Jerusalem, and from here the son of perdition will start to rule. "Go and tell my church that they must get ready and rush. Tell my church to wake up." Then the Lord made me come to what was another tunnel, as if it were part of commercial store. We went through a door, then we arrived like around a train station. The Lord told me, "Observe well." Immediately I saw a man running. He kept moving down a passage like a corridor. He was running from something or someone. Then he came to a place and hired himself. Then I saw another man coming. He came up and he said, "Why did you brought me here?" And the first man told him, "I didn't bring you here." Then they both continued to run in the corridor, and then they stopped at one place, and the second man told his colleague, "Let's see if you don't have the seal." The latter replied, "Which seal?" He showed him his hands, but he had no mark of the Antichrist on him. He said with terror, "They're stamping the mark on everybody. After sealing you, they'll then clone you." I saw these two men entering into the corridor. The first man said to his colleague, "Where have the tracks from this station gone?" While the two were talking, right away my eyes went through everything that was inside the subway. There were some steel tubes. The man said to his colleague, The president of this nation commanded to close this train station, and they said there's no more oil, but it's not the case. He brought the oil down here, they've come to hide it here. Immediately the Lord told me, this subway is a fertilization center, a genetic center. The seed and egg that you saw in these tubes are about to come to life. These are hybrids. They are also cloning of presidents, ministers, senior commanders in military governments, and artists, and soon they will take full control of the world and humanity. Some of the prime ministers are already cloned, and they are occupying positions within governments. They are the principalities, the powers, and the rulers of darkness. They are taking their place and position before the rise of Antichrist. Jesus said to me, tell my church, be firm against the devil's ambushes, and he told me, these clones and hybrid are already on the earth in position of power. They are leading humanity to chaos. Then Jesus took me to a part of the ocean. We were in a boat. I saw thousands and thousands of dead fish. There was a great number of death in the aquatic world, while we were on the boat, traveling through different places of the oceans, and there were a lot of dead fish, and the Lord told me, not all of this is a result of Fukushima. This is not the case. This is the radiation that is entering Earth, the radiation from the sun. Fish are more vulnerable to radiation. I saw on the beaches there were thousands of dead fish, different species. The Lord took me to the sun and I saw a stain on the sun like a hole. It was even bigger, and the Lord told me, the gusts will fall to earth. Normally the sun does not change its position, it's static, but it'll move. The sun will move from his place, the earth core will lose its strength. And then the Lord took me to the kingdom of heaven. I was again prostrated in front of the Father's presence. I was crying in front of him. I was troubled by what I have seen. The Lord of the armies told me with his strong voice, tell the church to get ready, tell my church to repent, and to be converted, because without holiness no one will see me. Tell them to hurry and fulfill with the Great Commission, and tell them to work the ministry and capacity that I gave them, because they don't mind. When they ask you who showed you the things that are happening and things that are going to happen, tell them that I have spoken to the Lord of armies. Run, go and tell them, this is my message of the Lord. Go, run and spread the good news of the gospel of the kingdom, because we are leaving. Church of Jesus Christ, fulfill the Great Commission, fulfill your ministry. Church of Jesus Christ, what are you doing with the ministries that the Lord gave you? What are you doing, Pastor? Are you putting people to work? Church of Jesus Christ, work, seek and accept our Lord Jesus Christ as your